All day Commanders log starts now, and what a week we've had. There's like computers with issues, and I saw a Vulcan with a fresh cut, bruh. Hand it down for the culture. It's Commanders log, and it starts right now.
This episode of Commander's Log is brought to you by Geek Renaissance. Need that special gift for the nerd in your life? Love supporting small business? Look no further than Geek Renaissance. The artist Sephra makes all items by hand and will boldly go to the final frontier for your unique gift. Head over to geekrenaissance.company.site and use the code FLOBITO, that's FLOBITO, to get 10% off your order. Don't forget to follow, like, and share Geek Renaissance on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
The USS Postshow swirls off again.
Boom, boom, boom,
Joined by the captain, Captain John. Well,
boom,
Captain,
boom,
what are you
boom.
doing?
I just love the music here on the show. I love to sing through the Geek Renaissance commercial and kind of throw that Geek Renaissance. Get your sci-fi going now. And then this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Captain John, star of the Starbase 80 and the Weber internet thingy, making it happen all across the star space and subspace. But we're not alone. We're being joined by friend of the show, Joshua Postel. How's it going, sir?
What's up, guys?
Josh,
how you doing?
man, I have a feeling that if you and I went out and had some Romulan ales at the end of the night, this is how I'd be looking at you.
Oh, yeah.
It would be worse than that. Have you ever heard of the concept being turned inside out?
Oh, no. Come on now. Yeah, with a bad transporter.
Because that's what it's like.
Gonna give you the old two bits.
It's like transporter malfunction South Beach edition.
Oh, damn.
Unfortunately, someone had a bright idea of putting three comedians in a room talking about Star Trek. But this is why we are here. This is the But to Connect episode, the last episode before the break of season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Josh, I'm going to start with you. You were texting me while watching it. You saying, quote, "I hate cliffhangers, exclamation point." Thoughts about the episode?
Yeah, I was like, no, fuck you, no.
CBS, yeah, I hear you. Paramount Plus, that's what it is.
Paramount Plus, damn you.
Damn
you to
Come
hell.
on.
Look, Flobo, you've been looking at the dates for the schedule for Discovery for weeks now. Did you know this came up like as kind of a surprise this mid-season finale, right?
About 10 days ago. For some
Plus.
reason,
Damn.
yeah, I have to cut you off there, John. So like every Monday, there was like they dropped the episode title. I guess they were about piracy, and for some reason, a week and a half ago, it was like after this, there's a break. It was like the first time they've ever done this. Well, the second time they've ever done this was having this weird, awful break.
I literally almost threw my iPad across the room. I was like, like the dog was giving me this look of,
Yeah, the hubris.
Is this what it's going to be like here?
Yeah. So we got 6 weeks just trying to contemplate things and live amongst ourselves. But in the meantime, we had ourselves a episode that said a couple of things, had a couple of instances. Cabin, I got to ask you this. You said the episode was fresh in your mind. Thoughts about this one when it comes to your overall thoughts of the season? I know you were kind of wavering, not off the Star Trek Discovery bus, be hanging on the side of the strap. Like, I don't know.
Yes. This was very much. I was like one of the passengers in the movie Speed.
The bus that cannot slow down.
I have no control. I have no idea what's going on. I am not Keanu. I am not Sandra. So I can only be a passenger on this bus. And I gotta say, I'm gonna cut to the chase and answer your question. I loved this episode.
this episode made me cry a couple of times. And it's rare for that to happen.
Yeah.
Stress-free K, how you living?
Hey, stress-free. I'm just, I had a lot of concerns. That was I was turning into a Karen here on the show. Like, I have concerns.
Right.
I do not necessarily like where this is going. and I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. They have placed things in such a way now that even though I didn't want this hiatus, and I don't know if any of the viewers did, you got me. I'm hooked. I'm in. I really like where things are going.
Yeah, I'm like, this is gonna be good. This is setting up some great interpersonal conflict coming up.
Yes, take that, Gene Roddenberry.
I am just confused, not because it's not a good episode, but I've called John wrong all season. We're like, oh, he'll love this. I hate it. What? I for one, I enjoyed it. Maybe not as emphatically as you are, because I think there were some scenes where I was rolling my eyes, but maybe because I don't have a soul. But let's get into that storyline. Zora has gone through some stuff in this episode, not threatening, but saying I will not divulge the coordinates. Which
I heard that, I was like, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that. I was like,
yeah, very, very 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I was like,
Hal,
oh crap!
Release the pod bay doors, Hal. I can't do that, Dave. Yeah,
it's like Zora, replicate me. Well, I can't say it. I'm gonna. Oh God, I can't say it. It's too gross. It's a family show.
I mean, it kind of isn't technically, but whatever. The question, Josh, then. So knowing what Hal did in that movie, were you concerned at that point in time at the beginning, first act, that it would have gone that direction and been told?
Yeah, I was like, oh boy, she's gonna space someone.
Yeah.
And they bring that up.
There was a piece of me that was like,
yeah, they bring that up. Like, what's to keep you from doing that? That, and I won't answer what happened, but
go ahead, answer it.
Well, I mean, this is such an interesting storyline with Zora, and I thought I was so smart, because I watch like the animated open, and I go, okay, I know what that is about, like the planet blowing apart, but like, what's that thing about with like the two parentheses with the waveform in between it, and that turns out to be Zora. Yeah,
that's her.
When we finally get a visualization of her, which is cool because, most sci-fi shows are like, hire a beautiful actress and just have her, it's Gene Roddenberry's Andromeda all over again,
Oh, yeah, Andromeda. Yeah, I saw that one. Kevin Sorbo, right?
Well, not him, but the really pretty girl that was the ship.
I didn't say he was, but he was on the show, right?
Not that January 6th jagoff, but but the really hot girl representing the ship, and that's been done a million times. Wasn't that done like in one of the new Knight Riders, Flobo? Josh, do you remember that?
Very, very vaguely.
No, Val Kilmer was Kit.
I was not a big Knight Rider fan, but I do remember vaguely that episode somewhere.
I was a Team Knight Rider guy, and there was one. Domino was female, but the rest were all
interesting. Yeah. I think there was like a Knight Rider 2000 or something that they were.
That I actually remember.
Remember?
Oh, actually,
it was. You thought it was okay, then you're like watching it and going, "Yeah, guys, no, don't make this. Please don't.
No legs here. No legs here.
Don't."
Actually, you know what? Sidebar Action Park had some hits, man. Captain Zoom from outer space. I mean, come on.
I forgot Captain Zoom. Hang on, writing it down. Gotta find it.
Captain Zoom. Late 90s, early 2000s shows were just off the wall. But yeah, so here's my thing with the Zora storyline. I was worried and concerned because of, and I'm glad I do Starbase 80, which is our sister show. It airs every Sunday, part of the Weber Internet thingy. Check it out on YouTube. And thankfully, I can't believe I'm saying this, or unfortunately, I watched a Tuvix episode, and it's very, very similar themes about what is sentience and what is not. And so I was worried I was going to be headed to Cringeville. I was worried that they would beat me over the head about tolerance in 2021/3000, what year this is. Anyway, but it found a way to really tell us, like, what is a new life form if it's a kind of algorithm with feelings and expectations and fears, and now it's dreaming? It's pretty rad.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Zora timeline when it first started, because it starts off with her saying, "Oh, wait, I did just figure out where is it species 10C."
Yeah.
I did just figure out where this species who's controlling this giant world-destroying phenomena, I figured out where their coordinates are, but I'm not going to tell you because it's too dangerous for you to go after them. And that's really interesting. And they're like reacting to it like, what? And I'm just sitting there going, did you guys never watch Next Generation? Data actually did this.
Yeah.
Like in the tape room, like an old football team. Remember that episode? Yeah.
There was an episode where everybody on the ship loses time, and it turns out Data is the one who knows why. And it's because they come upon this incredibly dangerous race who is so xenophobic that the idea that someone who knows they exist, they need to destroy them. And Data says, look, just let's erase their minds and I'll keep quiet and everything will be fine. They've done this before, but the ending of that episode and the ending of this episode are so different. I was like,
and there'd be no record. Remember, there'd be no record of this.
Right. Absolutely.
Because the one person, and Data was a person, I do consider him a living being.
Yeah.
The only one who had any memory of this took it to his grave.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, super like Star Trek and super interesting. And that's probably one of the things, I was talking with our buddy Leo Janisek earlier, and Leo said, I feel like I'm mainlining Star Trek. I feel like I'm getting like unfiltered Star Trek. This was such a Star Trek episode.
Shot at me one time in the comments section.
I don't know.
Probably.
Josh,
I don't think Leo heckles anybody, but I guess, sure.
Well, I mean, he's heckled me a couple of times, but I heckle him right back. Josh, you just got to do your crowd work on him. That's all.
Don't do your crowd work.
Don't do
your crowd work. So, Josh, let me ask you this. At first, Paul Stamets was, I guess, the voice of reason that somehow warped him to be the voice of prejudice. Were you pro Paul or anti Paul here? Just saying, hey, look, what's going on? Trusting way too much stuff to an AI.
I understood it. Being a sci-fi guy, I understood it. Yeah. If you've seen the Terminator,
sounds like prejudice to me, bro.
Matrix, you know where this is going. I mean, the one day can you imagine like the one day you have a fight with Zora, like, come on, Zora, I told you that's not how you make the ramen, like the good stuff, not the crap stuff. I'm talking like the good stuff.
Yeah.
And she's like, really? I think it would take a lot for her to space someone. I think she would just go like, really?
Yeah.
Really? And she'd just go crowd work on it.
And that'd be cool. That'd be cool. I'd be into that. Honestly.
They should do that.
Oh, is that true? Well, I'm just going to turn off your lights for a bit. Just let you think about what you said.
Yeah, and the next time you order something, I'm just going to fling a Big Mac in your face.
Of all the things, ramen and Big Macs? What kind of low-class ship is this? Yes, Captain?
Damn! What are the things?
I'm gonna fling some prosciutto.
Ballpark wieners, yeah.
What I loved about this episode was here I am going instant comparison to Data, and anyone can do that, obviously. And then we find out very quickly. Go ahead.
You're also talking about the whole synth thing in the first season of Picard.
Yes, right.
That left a scar on the Federation more than people realize.
Yes, absolutely. And they address it, which I loved. They bring it up, they address it, they move on. And we don't dismiss any of it, but one of the things that I loved is they really make it very particular to this story that Zora is emotions first. And you can't say that about Data. You can't say that about any of the synths that we've met in Star Trek. All emotions, really, right up front. And then having to move backwards from them. And even that storyline that I was like, do I like this? Am I sure about this? With Gray and Zora talking. Was that last episode?
Yeah. Yes.
And Gray doing some like ship's counselor work with Zora. Like, at first I was very uncomfortable with that. And that wasn't one of my like, I think maybe I'm...
Yeah.
Seeing it now with Gray saying, look, I'm a synth and you guys don't hold it against me at all. And I'm an emotional synth. So What,
The
what's
Star Trek
issue here?
fans do.
Because someone might say the issue is gray. You're not the one plugged into everything on the ship.
Very good
Right.
point. And Dr.
Right.
Kovich brings that up. And how about like, at no point have I ever called him Dr. Kovich until this episode.
Because he's clearly a doctor of some sort. It's
He
so
is.
Yeah, you call your
creepy.
Canadian best friend Dave Cronenberg every time.
Oh, David Cronenberg. Let me tell you something. David Cronenberg being in Star Trek is one of the greatest things.
He's great. He's
I love it.
unbelievable.
Love it.
I sound like a news pundit, but let me ask you this there, gentlemen. We have ourselves a Zora AI, and it gets rewarded by being a part of Starfleet. Is this going to be a problem, Josh?
Probably not.
What?
Perversely, probably not.
Perversely not.
Because that storyline, you might think it because all the horror stories about AI and all that.
It's not
This
good.
is the
Bad
first
PR.
time where that's probably not going to happen because she's considered part of the family and she's now considered part of Starfleet. And isn't Starfleet's mandate to go explore new worlds and seek out new life forms? Because a little divergence here. The whole backstory to the Matrix, somebody kicked the crap out of their servant robot, and the American courts in like the mid 22nd century said, yeah, you can do that. And that sort of just touched off the whole spiral where the machines just blew the planet up.
Did you just ruin Matrix Resurrection for me?
No.
It's like 1997.
You can look it up. It's on it's a cartoon, the Animatrix.
Oh, it's in one of the cartoons. Oh, that makes perfect sense. That's
Okay.
actually like
in every sci-fi timeline where the robots were kicked around, they went nuts when they became sentient.
This is true. I'm sorry, Joshua. I'm sorry I accused you of being a spoiler man. I'm sorry.
This
so anyway, Game of Thrones season 8. No. But my follow-up question is this, man. Like, yes, people sign up to be part of Starfleet. It's their cause under their own volition. But I found I kind of feel it was kind of cornered, and there is no more fail-safe. Now, the fail-safe thing to me, I would not have decommissioned it. I would have pocketed it myself. But that's why I'm not a hero. John, thoughts about that?
I really wondered about that, and I still wonder about it because at the end they destroy the sail face. Do they though? Really? I mean, Stamets just goes like,
yeah.
There's a simple reason. If you're gonna build trust,
right,
you're gonna have to put. It means you're gonna have to put it all on the table. It means, yeah, I am gonna have to deal with living inside a living ship.
Yeah.
And there is no failsafe.
I mean, I did feel it was oddly sudden that Stamets is wait, do we want the ship to be like this? Do we trust the ship to be like this? I mean, I guess mentally speaking, he is in that place and he could be that guy, but he's not a distrustful person by nature. So It was odd to me that he was the guy speaking for that, but he's also a very
he's an engineer by nature, so he's you're gonna analyze it and go,
makes sense.
This is a problem, potentially.
And he is the right person because he does have a really good heart, and he is he is very much of the crew. He can speak for the crew. He's been there since day one. Yeah. So I get it. And he has he has friends and family in the crew. It's very real that he would be that. And I'm glad it was him and not Kovich, because Kovich, I kind of like him as this like very cold, almost not so human. Yeah. You kind of need that. You need that analytical dude. I just love his line early where Burnham says, I think she'll come around. I think Zora will do the right thing. And he says, like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you have a doctorate in cognitive science, specializing in AI personalities? And she's like, no.
Womp, womp, womp.
But I did like that. Now he's Dr. Kovich, and he's got this field of expertise, and he's not quite the shadowy Section 31 seeming guy when we first met him.
Yeah.
This works for me. Works for me.
Yeah, it takes a while to build up and warm up to a guy like that. Because the first time you meet him, you're just like, ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Vaguely like slimy or kind of
Yeah.
slimy.
Yeah. Is this guy going to
But
be
slimy.
trouble?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like potentially slimy.
Bearing the lead a bit here, but we do get the coordinates. And I was thinking going into this episode, it'll be like, here's the coordinates, but it's a trap. But this one doesn't seem that's the case.
No.
Species 10C seems to be a singular species now, which is different, way different than the Emerald Chain. I know we're jumping into predictions. We'll start with you, Josh. Thoughts about that? What does it mean after the break? What are you expecting to happen when we come back?
Well, they're saying it comes from outside the galaxy, right?
Yes. But it's,
Right.
yeah.
Kelvins?
Ooh, multiverses are really big nowadays. They're in fashion.
I know. I saw that. I caught that too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I never thought of it myself, but I do love that it might be Kelvins because they are so foreign, but also so old to the canon. And I love that. I love bringing back things from the original.
And
Star Trek.
remember, Zora's freaking out because she's like, oh, this is beyond the galactic barrier. Oh, this didn't end well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, everything is foreign. I thought it was funny that they had the can President Rillick delay the assembly? Representatives from across all 4 sectors are going to be there. That's okay. That's awkward as hell as exposition.
Yeah.
But it's so Star Trek. They have to have a meeting and there has to be a vote and there has to be like this discussion. And meanwhile, outside of all of this civilization is some civilization that has no regard for us whatsoever.
Fair.
And that's what's so interesting about it.
I'm not regard for us either, and I live here. Let's get into it. Our A plot actually was the idea of what would happen once we come across species 10C. Do we do the first contact, Prime Directive, General Order 1, or do we blow it to smither friggin' reams? And we had ourselves a bit of a debate. Josh, I'm going to start with you here. 2 different sides. The whole world's there. Commute was terrible. You can't cancel it. What were you thinking on this one?
It doesn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Was it Josh? I'm sorry, Josh.
Yeah. Honestly, you'd want to try to reason with it. You'd be like, we pose no threat to you. You built an artificial thing that's gonna wipe out the galaxy.
Right.
If it's not stopped.
Yeah.
We can't come close to stopping you. That's the other reason. What you're gonna hit something that if they can do that, what can they do if they really broke out the big gun?
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, we don't even know. That's a great point that Burnham brings up, which is like moths don't know when they're, when their larva is chewing up your sweater and then they turn into moths. They don't know that they ruined your sweater. They can't assume.
They know what they're doing.
We can't assume their motivation. So yeah, this whole idea of first contact, it doesn't get more Star Trek than that.
Yeah.
And they jump right to the members of different worlds who are there, who are not part of the Federation. That's not necessarily how they think. That's a Federation thing. So I love that conflict too. So
before we get into the actual debate, political intrigue is all around. So we see, was it Captain or President? General Nadoya from the Earth, formerly of the Earth Defense Force, getting the promotion. And I forgot how militant Earth was at the time.
Yeah.
But now United Earth combined with Titans is in the mix. But I thought what was working for me was that President Rillick is basically using Michael Burnham as a diplomatic weapon, being like, I want you to do this. That's why I have you here.
Because another big exciting step forward. I love that.
Because she's a good bridge between Federation and non-Federation. She knows It's beard, freaky handlebar mustache.
You should see Joshua when he's waxed.
Hey,
Kind of magnificent, I do have
premium
to say.
content.
Really,
When
I
I'm
only show up
waxed
to
and
the
clean shaven.
Oh, it's some good beard right there. I want to try to get us back on track.
Forget it. The show's already
Sorry.
gone.
It's toast. We're going to the facial.
Michael Burnham's diplomatic weapon for the
Right, the diplomatic weapon thing. Well, it makes sense. As soon as I saw that, I paused and I just wrote notes and notes and notes that basically just burned down to what you said, Flobo, which is the president has very good reason for doing this because she's bringing in all these worlds who have not agreed to be under her, have not agreed to join her. So she doesn't want to be bossy, to put it in so many words. And so she has to always seem to be neutral. I'm here to listen to everyone. I'm here because everyone's viable. But when it comes time to try to twist people's arms a little bit and get them to think things, she's going, you know who's good at this? Michael Burnham. And she's not wrong. Burnham was great.
Well, so that way if things go south, she can always just blame Burnham.
Oh, damn!
It's true.
That's a classic political move.
No, that's
because she has her own
delegate
interest,
responsibility if the underling, quote unquote, screws up. Blame them. Hey, it wasn't me.
Right? Really, was like, I just want to see my mom's old motherland, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of sweet too. I didn't realize her mother was from Earth. She comes from a long line of Cardassians and Bajorans. And also, I think there's some humans on her dad's side. But her mom apparently was all Earth.
There's some humans in there because we get around. Especially for Kay says, I like how Earth is more xenophobic than most worlds. Hell yeah, man, don't look up. Which is true to form or how Earth is portrayed through the Trek series. Yep.
Absolutely. I really appreciated that too, that Earth is pretty much playing the role it played at the beginning of its induction into the Federation, which we actually see in Enterprise and actually makes Enterprise a very important show. I love it.
Which I think is going to make this at least as important because is Earth going to come back?
That's a very good question. And by the end of this season, we might know.
Well, I thought it was kind of interesting. I'm going to jump around just quite a bit because I know there's a whole thing with Booker and Burnham, which I want to get into. But I felt Earth's heart shatter when it was like, wait, we're not blowing something up? Hey, this is why I came all the way out here to blow shit up.
It's like the standard military mindset of, I gotta go blow something up.
What about my Second Amendment rights?
I was shout out to Earth, y'all. Shout out to Earth. I love that planet.
Hey, man,
don't even start me on that.
Look, we're humans.
I was like,
anyone watching us, we're humans. Humans can talk about this. If you're not human, you can't talk about us like this.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
The look on her face, it was I was like, how do I do this without politicizing this whole thing? Can't do it.
Maybe you can't.
Screw it. I'm the only active comedian here, so I'm going to go for it. It's almost like some 32nd century version of a right-wing nut.
Right.
Hey man, that's where that
was
from.
I saw that. I was
nuts are all over.
I got that. I see where
that's where they come from, man. I mean,
nuts are all over the spectrum. I've found there's nuts everywhere.
There's
not me is a nut.
There's
that's
nuts
what it is.
Everywhere.
So on one hand, we have the classic, be kind, be nice. Starfleet really knows what she wants. Peace. Does Michael Burnham. But on the other side, basically Booker and Tarka get together and try to figure out how they can be more proactive and just finding out and maybe damaging the scene before it hurts more people. I commend them, but it seems kind of misplaced there. Captain, what's going on between Book and Tarka?
I'm gonna make it sound right-wing pundit again. I have been saying this for weeks now.
What?
Every time you see a political pundit, they always do that. I've been telling you this, folks, for weeks. Which was, I thought Tarka and Book were gonna be this underhanded, undercover kind of. They were gonna join in because Book can navigate the spore drive. And they actually did come up with a new spore drive, as it turns out. I'm kind of jumping to the end, sorry.
Surprise!
And the whole sense is that they're going to be running their own mission. But we get a really good motivation from Tarka about this, which is, I have it in my notes as, Iron Man 1, which is he and another scientist. He tells the story.
Right.
He and another scientist were working as captives of the Emerald Chain.
I caught that.
Yeah, those evil Orion like syndicate, and they had promised that they were going to go to another universe together. And he's not sure if this friend of his went, but he's going to go. He knows that they can create enough energy by attacking 10C that maybe he can get knocked through to another universe, the one that they planned to go to together, he and this other scientist, which is kind of cool. And, gives it some heart. Well, that's the thing, everything about TV, it's got to have some heart, got to have some emotion to it, So there was a good motivation there. I feel like we're now seeing, Book wants revenge, and Tarka wants to rejoin his friend. And, it makes sense to me. Do I want it to happen? Of course not. But, hey, when do I ever get what I want? All the time, by the way.
Yeah. So this friend, you think, there was a reference to Aureliano, but I don't think it's him. Do you think it's a lover? Do you think it's a actual friend? Do you think it's a previously seen character we haven't seen before? Is it a Kovic? What do you think?
That'd be interesting. Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is someone we have no knowledge of. And I don't know. I mean, that was funny because as soon as he was talking about this other person, I was like, oh, okay, yet another healthy gay relationship on Star Trek Discovery. That's great. Fine. Yeah. Sure.
I felt kind of bad. I was like, why is my first thing sex? I should be like, there can't be science friends in space. There can't be science comrades. Like, they're probably banging. Yup. I'm the worst. My brain's always in the gutter.
That's why I had to go to Iron Man.
I thought my brain was always in the gutter.
Oh, no, Josh, it is.
We know it.
It's pretty depraved.
That's why we enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I enjoy being depraved.
We had these dueling speeches between Michael and Booker, which was cringe for all of us because it was like, damn, they banging, right? See, banging in space. But what tripped me out was the vote was by hand raising, which is so old school.
My God. That was
love the planet. Like thing. What?
Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, I have in my notes, I don't know if this will show up at all. Electronic hand raising, laughy face.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm just
in the year
going,
31, 80, 90, whatever, they
my favorite part about that is, so everybody here's got hands, huh? Must be nice.
Well, what if they're like the Japanese tentacle monster?
Exactly. I mean,
they raise a tentacle?
How many of these are counting?
It's a very valid point.
I'm gonna get yelled at for that one.
Only humanoids are allowed in Starfleet. Detail 11.
That was crazy. You got no hands. Like, you got no voice.
32nd century. You'd think they'd have a thing where you'd push it, would, like a little button or a thingy, and it would just pop up.
Yeah.
We have that now.
How about this? How about that?
Nay. Well, like I said, as long as it wasn't in a hotel like conference room like on Enterprise, as long as I'm fine. There was a budget for the meeting.
That was a budget. I still can't get over that. I heard you guys talking about that time. I was walking down the street eating lunch, and I literally almost choked on my pizza.
The Radisson.
Mr. Scott, can I talk to you over by the continental breakfast?
What's the big deal, Jim? There's a Furtado machine in the room. Okay. So there's no winners and losers, but book lost. And we thought all was lost for them, but there was a moment when they decided to basically hijack and create, him and Tarka, a miniature spore drive. And the last thing we saw between the end of the first part of the season was Booker's Chango ship going and warping, which is cool to see. This does not end well for anybody. And more importantly, is Booker and Burnham over?
It could be.
Sure looks like it. Sure looks like it. I don't know. I mean, honestly, though,
Burnham is gonna get burned and left with grudge.
Ooh, damn.
Right. Oh, that no, I hadn't even thought about that. They
Remember,
established
the
at
thing
the
is,
beginning of the
I
episode.
love you. Please take care of my girl.
Yeah.
Boom.
And at the beginning of the episode, we're seeing that like Burnham's relationship with Grudge has advanced to the point where Grudge stopped hissing at her, and that's
Right.
She still hates her. She just
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
hiss so much. Yeah, that's a little crazy. He gave up the kitty because he doesn't know if he's coming back.
It's like now she's gonna have to deal with.
I never thought you would say he gave up the kitty. Well, yes. So,
Well, accidentally, sure, I'd say that accidentally.
now she's gonna I know people who have cats. I've dealt with angry cats.
Yeah.
Those are not fun.
No, that's not an easy situation to be in.
dare I say, I don't quite buy Book's thing. I don't buy it. I feel like someone who is supposed to be emotionally in tuned, I can imagine them being shocked, dismayed, grieving, feeling their arm is ripped off. But what does Book tend to get? He can't bring them back. There's no way to establish that connection.
You gotta remember, he was almost telepathically, for lack of a better term, connected emotionally to his planet.
That's
true.
Without that, you are out of control.
Yeah.
Without that, you are gonna be out of control. All your grief is gonna be dialed up. If your grief on the scale, it's like from 1 to 10, he's on a 20. It's out of control.
I mean, the hallucinations of his dad is saying blood for blood. That's it. That's the hunter's code. Now, granted, Book is not a hunter, but he carries that. And I always loved that. I also loved that part where he says, on my planet, we have a person who speaks for the dead.
Yeah.
And like lots of cultures could have somebody doing that. And
Sure.
And that makes it undeniable. His presence, the message that he had, the importance of it. He is speaking for the people who are killed, which is everybody in his family and his whole planet.
Every Quajon who wasn't on Quajon.
They are all interrelated, and that's like one of those beautiful things about Quajon was how connected they all were through the roots of their giant tree and through the life on their planet, which is gone. So sure, he's crazy. Sure, it's extreme, but it's understandable.
Damn. It is interesting to me the biggest threats besides the DMA, obviously. It's been like, Booker's grieving and Zora's evolution. These are things that aren't Starfleet, but have been allowed inside the circle. So I wonder whether one or both of them will cause a demise or someone's death or anything like that.
Yeah.
Part of the season. But,
well, it's interesting because the Zora thing, I have in my notes Toy Story, because one of the things about Toy Story, all the movies, even more increased as the movies go on, is this idea that your toys love you. And who doesn't love that? Who doesn't love that idea? And so here we are on Discovery, where the ship's computer, loves you.
Yeah,
it loves you. Your family to the ship. Who doesn't love that idea?
It's Olive Garden to me. Yeah, sure. You're your family. I love it. Breadsticks, Dora.
Olive Garden.
I'll tell you what, if Zora was given endless breadsticks, she wouldn't even have to fight for her life. People would be like, do not touch.
Don't touch my Zora.
Don't touch it. My endless breadsticks, man.
2 candidates for quote of the week for me. Johnny Nadoya saying, intent doesn't matter, actions do. And my personal favorite from Paul Stamets, I'm not trying to kill anyone. I thought that was pretty awesome. Some quick hits elsewhere in the episode. I want your thoughts about this. The budding relationship between Mr. Saru and President Torino of Navarre.
Oh, yeah. A boom, a boom, a boom, a boom, boom. A boom.
The plant comes after usually, but yeah.
Come on. Those two are going to be hooking up.
Yeah, but dude,
I have only one question. Is he ready for Ponfar?
Oh,
is that something I should read about?
Ponfar. We're gonna have some Ponfar.
I hate to sound like that guy, but are they even compatible? I don't want to know.
No, seriously, that's my question. Like,
because my first thought was like, he's afraid of the Baú. You're dating someone from Navarre on Ponfar. Oh, like yeah, I'll take a Baú disruptor any day over the week over that.
It's a really weird situation. Is this at all a physical relationship? I guess I'm asking the same question you guys are, because I can't tell. Or is it like that super mental connection, which would be very Vulcan?
It could be both.
Yeah,
it could be both.
All the best relationships
my guess is they're probably going for the mental connection, but that's going to evolve into the physical.
I'm kind of digging it, but I mean, if I fell in love with a fish, I wouldn't expect anything to happen.
I just imagine like all of Saru's boys at like the camera bar, like, "What, you gave her a plant, brother? Are you kidding me, man?" Okay.
Oh,
whatever,
you
man.
jumped right to succulents? Okay.
I mean, man.
Feel like you went from the appetizer to the salad.
Just went over, man.
Okay. I can't tell you what to do. Just don't come crying to me when things go wrong. But okay.
I actually like them together. I think that's like Saru's evolution. We love ourselves, we love somebody else. And, Tarina looks like somebody who, needs someone to soften up around, I guess. That is being that one-dimensional.
Absolutely. Well, and, a Vulcan, a true Vulcan like Tarina is, all into that mental connection and all into that, like, my mind to your mind. That whole thing, they did kind of meld, didn't they? Kind of. No,
yes, they did.
I mean, they did their meditation thing.
Yeah, the meditation together.
And she did that with Book, which was great. It was great for Book. It was just a great example of melding too. Melding, baby. Yeah, got to get your meld on.
I think Tarina being more human and expressing love is the sole reason why we saw the appearance of Provost Stockyar. Because it came out of nowhere. I was kind of like, why? He had one line. Why is that a thing? And why does he have a title? I think that may be the reason.
Yeah, good point. And he, we don't know him as well. So there's something very kind of serious about his presence. He's not easy. We haven't already created a relationship with him. He's a little more distant. Very symbolic of how much diplomacy has to go into this whole thing, which is very Star Trek.
Yeah, it does. It did feel very classic. Now that I know these episodes a lot better, listen to Starbase City or being on Starbase City. Mr. Postel, finally, got one more question for you. We seen it seems the apparent writing off of the character of Gray on the show. John and I debate about Gray's role on the show in total, but now
Gray will be back,
of course. But I'm just saying, being sent off now. Thoughts about that?
Because things could get ugly, and he's really not ready for it. I mean, okay. How should you remember what happened the last time someone went through the galactic barrier?
It's good times.
Okay, and they had fun with that on lower decks, remember?
Right.
Where, what's his name? What was it, Gary Mitchell?
Yeah,
was
Gary
it?
Mitchell?
I have to look it up.
I don't remember, but like something had like crazy godlike powers. Had to drop a rock on him.
Yeah, Jack Ransom, but I don't know who plays him.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting there going, the last time, and I don't know if you guys how much into the old school lore pre-Enterprise, but post-war Earth, you are, there was the God, what was the name of that? It was like the first starship ever.
Oh boy! Oh no!
I am not that deep in the lore.
Hold on.
Without hitting memory alpha for like an hour, I'm not sure I can.
How
answer
dare
that.
you bring knowledge to this show?
Of course,
What are you
I am
thinking?
the comedian.
Oh, God. No, I hear you. I
No,
totally
like,
hear you.
that didn't end well either.
True. In the same vein there, John Captain, Gray being sent off for now.
It feels very story, very much like, well, yeah, Gray wouldn't be good for the story right now. But we have had enough indicators that Gray wants to be a guardian, and wants very much to, serve in the tradition of the Trill, which is fantastic, and an extra challenge because Gray is synthetic now. Gray is the mind of a Trill in a synthetic body, and as Josh says, that's going to come up. There's going to be
there's going to be issues with him, with a Trill mind and a synthetic body with no host. It's going to be there's going to be all kinds of issues.
I mean, he can do things. He can fulfill his duties and his goals as being a guardian. But I love that they remind us that Adira, because she's a human who was joined with a Trill, the Trills did want to destroy her and take the symbiote from her. So they do have some tough rules, and they should. So culturally, there might be some issue up ahead.
Oh, they're not ready for that one.
They ain't ready, y'all.
They probably did. I'm like, do they even have synth anything on Trill? I don't think so.
Yeah, they're not a very science-based
No, they're all spiritual, yeah.
They're more spiritual. I mean, they clearly had enough science-based that they did join the Federation at one point.
Right. But like Quajon, a very and Quajon wasn't part of the Federation, but a very sort of agricultural kind of living with nature kind of a people. And that's interesting because that creates a lot of tension with the Federation that's so based on technology.
I love it. I can't wait for the episodes to come back February 10th, I guess through the middle of March, it seems, of season 4 of Star Trek Discovery. Fellas, appreciate you guys being on the episode of Commander's Log. Joshua, you're out there. You literally say you're the only active comedian. Not offended.
You thought he didn't hear that?
But if someone were to connect with you being active as hell, how'd it go about doing that?
You can find me on my Instagram at BigJSH2709 or on Facebook, my full name, Joshua Postel. I'll be hitting up some rooms in Miami in the next couple of weeks.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, coming up.
And then I am hoping once things settle down a little bit to come bug you guys.
Hey!
Don't say it like that. But yes, LA is great. Come through.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah.
I
haven't seen John in years.
Bring
in the flesh. I haven't seen him in the flesh. I always bring Loop. He lives like down the street, but I haven't. Yeah. John, where can world find you, man?
Starbase 80 and on the Eastern time zone, Starbase 80 is Sundays at 2 p.m. and here on the Western side on the Best Coast we are 11 a.m. and you'll notice I say Best Coast. I have such a California accent now.
Yep. And I will be launching a podcast soon.
Finally.
Just have to work out the details. I'll let you guys know when everything.
What details that were started? Do it.
Yeah. No, seriously. It's hard to start, but once I got started, inspired by Flobo, I became so happy with the results. So yes, by all means, do it.
And that's it from here.
Cool. Yeah, when the podcast launches, let us know. We'll definitely link to your stuff. Commander's Log will be back next week, though. During the hiatus, we'll be looking back on some of the classic moments in Star Trek Discovery and around Star Trek lore, but not in a way to conflict with the superior Starbase 80. That does it
Oh,
for
please.
me.
Starbase 80 this coming year is going to be all about getting you ready for the shows that are coming up. So we're going to be watching some shows that'll set you up for the rest of Prodigy, and then for the rest of Discovery, hopefully, and then for Strange New Worlds, Picard, season 2. That's pretty much what Starbase 80 is going to be doing. We're going to be trying to dig back into those episodes that'll give you information that'll help you watch the new episodes.
Oh, love it. Sounds so informative. I got to bring back Memory Alpha because I had no idea what Josh was talking about. Listen for us this week on Commander's Log. As always, I do the whole thing. Live long and prosper.
Group hug! Group hug!